Hello, this is Kristen at Servantech, and in this tutorial video we're going to take a look at setting up messages in the Preachit component. Thus far we've already created a ministry, we've created a series, we've added a teacher. Now we just need to add the message. So what we'll need to do first is be sure that we have our audio content uploaded. If you have video, be sure you've uploaded that. So the way that I'll do this is I will go to our file manager. And inside of our file manager, I'm going to click on sermons because this is where I'm storing everything related to the Preachit component. And I can see that I've already set up some sermon audio. I've just set these up based on the date. You can organize your files however you choose, whatever makes the most sense to you. And the next thing I'm going to want to do is be sure that I have my notes uploaded. So right now when I look in the sermon notes folder, I don't have any notes uploaded, but I do want to upload some so that I can make them accessible from the website. So I'm going to browse to my own computer and upload some notes. And I'll save these. Now once these finish uploading, we can go back to, you'll notice these are PDF files. We can go back to Joomla and go back to our Preachit component, and we can go directly to the messages area. And let's create a new message. And we'll go directly to the message details, which is the first tab, and this is where I can give the message a name. And don't worry about the alias, that can be automatically populated unless you have a specific one you want to give it. And then we can choose the date when the message was preached. We can give a message description, select a book of the Bible. You can choose up to 2 Bible references. You can choose the chapter and verse where it begins, the chapter and verse where the reference ends. You can also set the duration. These are optional, you don't have to set these, but you have that option. You can also choose the teacher, and you can select from a list of the series that are currently loaded on the site. You can also create a new series by clicking this Add New button if you haven't yet created the series. You would just give it a name, and I'll just call this Sample Series. Create Record, and you'll see it automatically adds that series to our list. I'll go with one we've already created. And then just like in the series, you can also do the same for the ministry by adding a new one simply by clicking the button. I'll just use the sample church ministry that we've already created. And if I wanted to give the message some tags so that, if we were using a tag cloud on our site, people could search for it that way, we can do that as well. Next, I'll go to the tab that says Add Info, and here you can actually choose a date to start publishing the sermon. So say your sermon was preached on a Sunday and you wanted it to be available on Monday. You can choose the date that you want it to begin publishing, and you can tell it when to finish publishing if you wanted to remove it at a certain point, or you can just always leave it up there by choosing never for the finish publishing date. What's convenient about this is you can set up everything ahead of time. You can put in the notes, you can put in the information about the sermon, and set everything up so all you have to do the day before is upload the audio, and it'll start publishing the sermon whenever you tell it to start publishing. So that's a nice feature. You also have some options for displaying certain content like comments. If you want people to be able to read and leave comments, you can choose that. If you want this message to appear on your message list, you can tell it yes or no here. Choose the access level, the language. If you have another media file, another sermon that you want to associate with this one, you could choose from a list of all the sermons that you've already added to your site. Since we haven't added any, we don't have that option right now, but you can do that as you begin to build a library. You can also add a meta description and meta keywords, which will make it easier for people to search for your messages. Next, we'll look at the audio. Audio and video are very similar in that you have a lot of options here where you can select an audio player, select a folder where you want the audio to come from. This we would need to give the name of the file, so let's see if I can remember one. Actually, here's one that I've typed in earlier. So this is the name of the file. It's in the audio folder, which if you go back and take a look at our folders tutorial, you can see how to set those up. And you don't have to fill in the file size. The Preachit component can already determine that just from looking at the file. And you can choose whether or not you want people to be able to download the audio. So if you say yes, there'll be a little download link on the bottom of the sermon. If you say no, they won't have that option. They'll just have to listen to the sermon on the website. And then if you wanted to make your sermons available for purchase, you could do that here as well. Let's take a look at the video tab. That's very similar to the audio tab in that you would select a video player, you would upload your video from, or you would have already uploaded the video. You would just select the folder where it came from, give it a name, and you can choose, just like in the audio, whether or not you want to allow people to download the video as well. Next we can, if you have a transcript of your message, you can input that here, and people will be able to see message text by clicking on a link. You can also upload notes, which is what we just did, so we can select the notes folder, and we would need to remember the name of the file, which I believe this is it. Remember to put the file extension as a PDF file, and again, you can leave the file size blank. You don't need to worry too much about that. And if you had a PowerPoint presentation or a keynote presentation that you wanted to associate with the message, you could also upload that here. You could choose from a folder that you've already created and just pull in the content that way. You can also choose an image. If you have an image to go with your sermon, you could upload that as well. And then the third-party import allows you to play videos from, say, Vimeo, YouTube, blip.tv. You have those options as well. You would just need to give the URL of the video in order to do that. So let's save and close what we have so far, and now we see that we have a message in our messages area. So in the following videos, we're going to take a look at how to set these things up on the front end now that we've created all of our content in the back end, and how to do a few more customizations with the component to get you up and running. So thanks for joining us.